Hey everybody, DBS Central here. Welcome to another deck profile video. If you guys saw today's thumbnail, you saw that today we're doing Hellfighter 17 Plans in Motion. So this leader, there's a lot of different builds online. I tried to make a super competitive one. I decided to splash another color in here because I think it makes it more powerful and more competitive. So I really am into 17. I think he's a wicked cool character, first of all. Second of all, the next couple deck profiles that I'm going to make are all kind of based around Android 17. While I was building this deck, I was looking at all my options, and I found a few different decks that use the same character, and I checked out all the support for it, and I think it's all really cool. All right, so let's get started. All right, on his unawakened side, this guy here, it's Android 20 and Dr. Mew. When this card attacks, look at the top 5 cards at the top of your deck. Add up to 1 Android or Machine Mutant card, both green and with energy cost 6 or less from among them, and then shuffle your deck. His Awaken here is when your life is at 4 or less, or when you have 2 or more energy, while 1 or more Android 17 and Android Hellfighter 17 cards are in your Z Energy and battle area. You can draw 2 cards and add cards from your life until you have 6 left. So he does have an alternate awaken, which is really cool. So then when he awakens here, he turns into Hellfighter 17 Plans in Motion. When this card attacks, draw 1 card. Active main once per turn. Add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. Then choose up to 1 of your opponent's Unison cards and remove a marker from it. So this really works well with some of the Z battle cards we have, just to like get rid of a Unison. And then here it's active main once per turn. Place 1 card from under one of your Super 17 cards under this card for the turn. Reduce the skill cost of a Z Awaken on a Super 17 ready to absorb in your Z deck by 1 green energy. So we'll get into the Z deck, but we'll start. We'll go to the Z deck first. So there's the leader. And here is our Z deck. So this build here, like I said, I splashed blue into it for a number of reasons, but first we'll get into the leaders and then we'll go from there. So this leader here is Super 17 ready to absorb. So this is the one that the leader will reduce the awaken skill by 1 for. So when your life is at 4 or less, you can Z awaken onto a green Hellfighter 17, which would be your leader here. So it's got this ability that's one of the new keywords here. It's Z stack, and it says 2 here. So you would, when you play this card, you would take 2 of your green Super 17 leaders, which is any of these guys that you'll have here, and then you stick it under this card here while it's on top of your leader here. So what this card does is at the end of your opponent's turn, you can switch this card. You can place this card from under your Z leader on top of your Z leader. So as you'll see as we go on, I'll explain it to you. You'll be swapping these in and out and absorbing different stuff, and then it'll be going on top. And then at the end of your opponent's turn, you would switch this one back so that you get this other ability down here to keep going. Auto. So like I said, at the end of your opponent's turn, you would put this card back on top of your Z leader. And then active main, once per turn, place up to 1 green Android card with energy cost of 1 from your deck or drop area under this card. And then shuffle your deck if you look through it. So that's the first one. And then we have here, so you don't have to really worry about paying these. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but these are going to Z stack under your main leader here, your main Z Awaken leader. And then you'll be revolving them with these different abilities, which I'll show you right now. So we'll go to this one here. This one is Super 17 Bound by Blood. So what's cool about this one is you can pay the Awaken, but it's irrelevant because it'll be under your Z leader anyway. Auto, if an Android 18 card is under your leader and you place 1 card from under a Super 17 card in your battle area in its owner's drop area, at the end of your turn, place this card from under your leader on top of your leader. So basically what it's saying is after you pass turn or whatever, this one would jump back on top of your leader and revolve back around so that you're a 20k leader base, which is really cool. Once per turn, when your opponent attacks, choose up to one of your Super 17 cards and switch it to active mode. So it's awesome. So like some of the other battle cards you'll have out, you'll have a bunch of Super 17s out, and when your leader attacks, it could restand it, and a lot of them have blocker and stuff like that. So it definitely is beneficial for the deck, and it gives you a lot more defense. So another auto down here, once per turn. If it's your opponent's turn, when an opponent switches one of their energy to rest mode, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 4 or less and KO it. So basically, if they use an energy to negate or for a certain ability, maybe an extra card or something like that, you would be able to just KO something once per turn, 4 or less. So it's really, really cool and really strong. So that's if you have a Android 18 under your Z leader. So it basically absorbs a 18 with this guy, because you would pick one of these, your 18s with energy cost of 1. It would go under here, and then it'll be under your leader. And then you'll be able to morph into this one here. So our third one here is Super 17 Diabolical Union. You can pay 4, but like I said, it'll go under your Z leader when you use this guy here. And it will be under there, and you could play it basically for free if you have certain cards under your leader. So once per turn, when this card attacks, you draw a card. This is also another 20k base. And then another auto here is once per turn. What does it say? If it's your turn, when an opponent's energy is switched to rest mode, switch this card to active mode and choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So this is really strong too. Like if you go to attack, this is more of like the other one's more of a defensive card with the 18 absorbed. And then this one here is more of an offensive card. So like I said, if it's your turn, so if it's your turn when your opponent his energy is switched to rest mode, so basically if they negate or something like that, you can restand this guy. And choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, any size. It does not 4 or less or anything, and then you can KO it. Active main, if there's a sell card underneath your leader card, you place one card from under a Super 17 in your battle area in its owner's drop area. Place this card from under your Z leader on the top of your leader. So basically, you would discard a card from the bottom of one of your 17s, your Super 17s, and then you would be able to just play this on top of your leader. So a little confusing, but once you get used to it and you're playing the deck, it'll become really just second nature. You'll know exactly what to do. It just takes a lot of readings too. It's kind of weird, but it's really, really simple if you really think about it. So those are the 3 Z-Stack cards that go with this leader. And like I said, with your leader's ability, this actually gets dropped by 1. So you would basically get rid of 2 your Z energy, pay 1 energy, and you'd be able to do it right on top of your leader. So we'll put that over there. We'll put this in the Z stack over here. All right. And then some other Z battle cards that we run is, like I said, we splash blue. So this is some barrier removal. If you don't know what he does, Beerus Arai Annihilator. He's got barrier. When this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost greater than their current energy and put it at the bottom of its owner's deck. And this card gets plus 5,000 power for the turn. So he turns into a 15k attacker. Additionally, activate main once per turn for 2 blue energy. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, switch this card to active mode, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. And then this card gets a dual attack for the turn. So you can attack a total of 3 times. You'll be a 15k, and then you get another 5k. So you would become a 20k. And you would remove something with barrier and something greater than the energy cost. So really, really good card here. Just if you need some barrier removal that you can't find in your deck, it's always in your Z energy. So, I mean, your Z deck. So it's really good to use. Right here, we have some blockers. So we got a 1-drop and it has 1 Z energy also, so it's real cheap. But for this deck, we just use it as a blocker just for some more defense. It does have another ability here. The auto is when a Universe 7 Son Goku is in your battle area and is well, let me see real quick. Yeah, I never use it for this ability. So when a Universe 7 Son Goku card is in your battle area, is attacked, negate the attack, and then you negate this skill for the turn. So this is really good too, just as a blocker 1-drop if you need a little bit more defense. But sometimes we need to drop some stuff into our drop area. But also, there's other cards that switch out. So if you put like a Hellfighter in your drop, you'll be able to like replace it with a different, like a 17 card. So this kind of helps the deck a little bit. I'll show you why in a little bit. And then here we have another blue card. This is kind of like a board wipe in case you need it. It's for 3 blue energy and then 2 Z energy. It's got deflect critical if you don't know what he does. Cell awakening of the created. Auto, when this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 5 or less, and then you put them under this card, and then active main once per turn. If 1 or more cards are under this card, and you place all of them into its owner's drop area, switch this card to active mode. Additionally, if you did 4 or more cards, this card gets triple strike. So it has the potential to become a triple strike, dual attack, triple strike, critical, because it's got critical here too. So really good card here also. And then just to fill out the rest here, this is just if you need to be a little more aggressive, it's got deflect, double strike, Frieza Resurrected Ambition. So when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 5 or less and KO it. Place 1 of your Z energy in its owner's drop area. When 1 of your other green battle cards with energy cost of 2 or more attacks, your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. That's just for a little more extra added aggression. So that's the deck. That's the Z deck. The most important part are these 3 here for the Z stack. It kind of really is the engine of the deck, and it gives you a lot of defense and offense, and it's really, really good. This is the cool part. All right, so getting into the main deck, we have this guy here. So 4 of these. Android 17 Brainwash Fighter. So if you don't know what he does, he has barrier, so he'll stick around because you want him to stick around so that it facilitates your awakening ability, which is one more time. If your life is at 4 or less, or when you have a Super 17, Android 17 or a Hellfighter 17 in your Z energy or battle area, and you have 2 or more energy, you'll be able to awaken with this guy early. So usually turn 2, turn 3, you're awakening, but you're really defensive and you're using a lot of different cards to do it, a bunch of different stuff. So I'll show you here. So for this one here, when this card is played from your hand, look at the top 5 cards at the top of your deck and add up to 1 green android with energy cost 6 or less from among them to your hand, and then you shuffle your deck. Very simple, but like I said, this one here is a Android 17. And I'll show you the difference between this one and the Super 17. But it's really good because, like I said, it helps you awaken, and then it does some other stuff with some absorbing to get your Super 17s out. So we run 4 of those. I'll spread them out a little bit. All right, our next 1-drop is, boom, Hellfighter 17, the Brainwasher. So with this card here, I'll get to the non-foil so there's not too much of a glare. So with this card, when you play it, you draw a card, and then plays this card in its owner's drop area. Play up to 1 Android 17 Brainwash Fighter, the one you just saw, from your deck with its skills negated for the turn, and then you shuffle your deck. So this is kind of just to get him out, and he has barrier, so he'll be safe while he's on the board. And then he's got another active main, limit 1. If your leader is a green Super 17 and green Super 17 card or a green Hellfighter 17, they're specific about it because your leader is a Hellfighter and then your Z leader is a Super 17. So you could do either or. Let me see. Or a green card. and you place one green Hellfighter 17 from your Z energy into your drop, you can add this card from your drop area to your Z energy. So basically, when you use a Z energy for anything and it goes into your drop, if this guy's in your drop, you can replace this card with the one you just used so you don't lose any Z energy. So it's a pretty cool ability. And like I said, this is all facilitating your awakening and stuff like that. But it's also good to have a free Z energy use whenever you need to. All right, so those are the first couple. And then to make sure that we always have 17s and and Hellfighter 17s out, we run 4 of these for our negates. So Android 17, Impending Crisis. If you don't know what this does, this is from a starter deck that came out. I believe it's like a Cell starter deck or something like that. But with this, it's a counterattack, negate the attack, and then you can play this card. And then if your leader card is a android, and when you play this card, you could choose up to 1 battle card with energy cost 4 or less, an android in its name from your deck, and place it into the drop area, and then shuffle your deck. I'll show you some of the cards that we can throw in there to make things work a little bit better. Or if you just need certain things in your drop, like we could put all sorts of stuff. I'll show you after. All right. And then to kind of like even out the amount of Hellfighters and 17s that we have this one here. Hellfighter 17, Calculated Cruelty. So this card here, we'll get to the non-foil so we don't get the glare. Active main, limit 1. If your leader is a green Super 17 or a Hellfighter 17 card and you have a Android 17 in play, play this card from your hand. So this is what's really good about this, because this is an Android 17. So if you negate on your opponent's turn, you could play it, you'll have them out, and then you could play this card for 1 energy, which is a 15k attacker, which is really good. And then same with this one here. If you play a turn 1, it has barrier, but also you could play a turn 2, whatever you need to do to get everything out and going. Like I said, you kind of want to wait till like turn 3, turn 4, till you start doing a bunch of crazy stuff. So active main, if your leader card is a green Super 17 or a green Hellfighter 17 card, and place 1 green non-Hellfighter card from your Z energy into its owner's drop area, you could play this from your drop into your Z energy. So pretty much the same ability as this. Any card that you put in your Z energy, if you put it in your drop area, you can replace it with this one. So it's really good. Like it's like free Z energy, basically. It'll keep your Z energy stacked up. So we run 4 of those because now our count is 8 Hellfighter and 8 Super 17. Android 17s. Sorry. So then we have one of the new promos from the TP pack from the new set, Android 17 Misused Power. So this card here has got unique. So for 1 green energy, if your leader is a Super 17 or a Hellfighter 17, both green, and you have a Hellfighter 17 in your Z energy, you can play this card from your hand. So as you know, if you whatever card you put in your Z energy, if you use it for anything and you put it in your drop, you will have this to replace it, which will give you your Hellfighter 17 in your Z energy. So you'll be able to play this guy. And this guy here, active main, limit 1. If you have 4 or more energy and you place this card from under a Super 17 card in its owner's drop area, you could choose up to 1 green Super 17 card with energy cost of 8 in your battle area, and you could switch it to active mode. This is for our boss monster, and it gives it, usually it has dual attack, but this will give it like triple attack with that ability. So this is a really good card. It's a good tech card to have. I was going to run it at 3, but I thought it was a little too clunky and I needed room for some other stuff. So it's just 2 of is great because it's got unique. So 2 of those bad Larrys over here. All right, so our next card is a super rare. So this one here is Super 17 and Hellfighter 17. Synchronized, it says here. Sorry, the glare is so crazy on these. All right, so active main. So this, first of all, this thing counts as a Hellfighter 17 and a Super 17. So by dropping just one of these on your board, you will be able to have either or, whichever one you need for whatever you need. So it's a real good card in that aspect. But other than that, Active main, limit 1 for 1 green energy if your leader is a green Super 17 card or a green Hellfighter 17 card, and you have 2 or more energy, you can play this card from your hand. So on turn 2, you could play it. So say you have Android 17 in your Z and you don't have anything over here, you can play this guy and it would count for the other one that you need to awaken. So also active main, limit 1, place this card from your drop area. Oh, I'm sorry. Play this card in, put this card into your drop area, and then you could play up to 1 Android 17 and up to 1 Hellfighter 17 card, both green with energy cost of 1 from your deck and or drop area with their skills negated for the turn. And then you can shuffle your deck if you look through it. So this is good for getting ready to absorb, do a union absorb. You could put out the one with barrier, and then when you pass your turn, he'll have barrier. He'll be protected from anything you need, and it'll set you up for your Super 17 union fusion and stuff like that. So 4 of these, I think they're really important for the deck. And they're 15k attackers for one energy, which is always really good. All right, so the next card that we run here is 4 of the Super 17 Hell's Avenger. So this one is very important for the deck. It's a rare, and it kind of gets the whole deck going and moving like that, because you need a Super 17 to take cards from under it and put it into your drop to get a lot of the effects from your Z leaders. So here, he's a blocker. If your leader card is a green Super 17 or a Hellfighter 17, when this card attacks, use up to 1 card from underneath this card in a combo, and your opponent places 1 card in their Z energy in their drop area. So this kind of stops them from being able to use some of their Z battle cards that they want to use if they need to use them. And it kind of enfeebles your opponent a little bit, which is really good. And then right here we have active main, limit 1 for 1 green energy. If you have, where is it? If you have 3 or more energy and you choose 1 Hellfighter 17 card in your Z energy and 1 Android 17 card in your battle area, draw 1 card and play this card from your hand. Place the cards from the chosen, basically place the chosen cards with this skill under this card, and then this card gets double strike and barrier. So you choose a 17, or is it? Yeah, so you choose a 17 on your battlefield and a Hellfighter 17 from your Z energy. You choose them, and then you put them under this card, and you could play it, and then for 1 energy, and it gets double strike and barrier. So it turns into a 20k double strike barrier blocker. Now, with this out on the battlefield, you'll be able to do a lot of shenanigans, like I was saying, like with your Z leader and this leader here. First off, one of his abilities is place 1 card from under one of your Super 17 cards in its owner's drop area, and then you can reduce the energy cost of this 17 here, Super 17. So then it'll come out for 1 cheaper, and then you'll be able to do all sorts of shenanigans. When this guy's out, you can take the 1 drops, stuff them under here, and then you can evolve onto the other ones, or Z awaken onto the other ones. So it's definitely legit. So 4 of these guys here. And then after that, this is the last 17 in our chain. This one here is Super 17 Onyx Lightning. So this is basically your boss monster. Let me explain what he does here. If your leader is green, is a green Super 17 card, so you have to have your Z leader out. Before it would be either a Hellfighter or a Super 17, but your Z leader needs to be out for this guy. So when this card attacks, when this card is placed, if your leader is a green Super 17 card, when a card's placed from under this card in its owner's drop area by your leader's skill, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, KO it, and then your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. So a little bit of hand control, which is not bad, gives them less options. And then active main, limit 1 for 2 green energy if you have 4 or more energy and you choose 1 Hellfighter, and one Android 7. Oh, well, one Hellfighter in your Z Energy and one Android 17 card in your battle area. You can play this card from your hand and place all the chosen cards under this card. And then this card gets double strike, barrier, and dual attack. So it's a 30k blocker, dual attack, double strike, barrier. Did I say that all? I don't know. I think I said it twice. But so he's a really good boss monster for the deck, definitely. And like I said, with this card here, the TP card, you can get him to untap again for a third attack, which is crazy. So if they're not ready for 3 attacks from a 30k double strike, triple attack basically, it could just win you the game. So it's really, really strong in that aspect. So that's the main chain for the deck. It's kind of big and it's a little confusing, but once you get used to it, like I said, it's like running water. It happens so fluently, but you just got to get your numbers and your ratios right. But that's why I'm here to show you the best ratio that I could find that works for me, and you guys can test it yourselves and find out. So other than that, we have a little bit of help for the deck here. So if your opponent's taking care of all your business, we run one of these, and this got a permanent. If your leader is so this doesn't matter. This is for a different deck. This is like a dual use card. It's for 2 different decks, but this first one doesn't pertain to us. But I'll read it. If your leader is a green Son Goku GT card, and this card is in your warp, you can't play non-green battle cards. So that doesn't pertain to us at all. But here on the active main, limit 1, if your leader is a green Super 17 card and you have 4 or more energy, and you place this card from your hand into your drop area, you could play up to 1 Android 17 card and 1 Hellfighter 17 card, both with energy cost of 1 from your drop area with their skills negated for the turn. So say they mop up your board, you can discard this card and you play any of your 1-drop 17s, Hellfighter or regular Android 17. That way you can go right into your 8-drop. You can even go into your 6-drop if you need them out too. So it's just a one of. It's kind of like a tech spot, and I just in case your opponent kind of messes with your stuff a little bit, you got this. But most of the time, because they have barrier and you drop them for 1, you won't run into that problem too much. Now on our Z Awaken leaders, it said that we needed a Cell or an Android 18, either or for each of the leaders to be under our Z leader here, so that they can go on top of the Z leader at the end of your opponent's turn and stuff like that. This is the Cell that we run. So it's Cell Powerful Quarry, active main, limit 1 for 1 green energy. Send this card from under your Super 17 Z leader to its owner's warp. Your leader gets double strike for the turn, for the battle. So if you want to pay 1 energy, if you're going to go for game or something, and you're swinging with your leader, who will usually be like a 20k or so, you can pay 1 energy, get rid of this, and then give your leader double strike, which is awesome because it surprises your opponent, especially after they ban Champa and stuff like that. They won't really be expecting it as much. So it's really good. And it's a 1-drop Android, so you can use your, which one is this one called? Yeah, so you can use this one here, Super 17 Ready to Absorb. You can stick this one underneath from your deck. That's why I only run 2, because you can take it from your deck or your drop. So if you do put it in your drop and you want to reabsorb it, you can put it back in. 2 is a good number, I felt, especially because it's hard to find room in this deck for a few things. But I think that 2 is fine. But like I said, you absorb it onto here, so it would go under there. And then the end of your opponent's turn, you would take a card from under one of your 17s, put it in your drop, and then boom, this guy would evolve right on top. Or Z Awaken. And then you would have this 20k. And then like you pay 1 energy, you drop this when you attack, and then it's double strike, boom. So there's a bunch of shenanigans that are really cool in this deck. So 2 of those. Then we'll put our Z leader back. And then 2 of these guys here, Android 18 Powerful Quarry. So active battle, limit 1. Send this card from under your Super 17 Z leader to its owner's warp. Add up to 1. Up to 1 of your leader cards gets plus 5k for the battle. So it's basically just like a 5k combo. But with the same thing with this, you would use this ability on here to absorb this from your deck or your drop. And once that's under there, you can swap this guy out to here. And then boom, you have this stuff going on this, which is KOing stuff. But also if your opponent attacks, negates or uses an energy, then you can switch it to active mode and stuff like that. Or a KO something, I'm sorry. The other one switches to active mode. So it's like I said, it's a bit confusing at first, but once you figure out the deck, it's really fluent and it's not even that big of a deal. All right, and some of our negates, we run 2 of these just for as a floodgate, Dormant Potential Unleashed. If you don't know what it does, we don't run any unisons in this deck, but if you need to pay 1 energy, you would play this card, discard a card, and then your opponent can only attack. Well, that attack will go through, and then they can only attack 1 more time for the turn. So it's a small little floodgate for 1 energy, not a big deal, but definitely helps out when you have a lot of battle cards coming at you. So 2 of those. And then we run 2 Majin Buu Unadulterated Malice. So with this card, it's basically a topo for green. You would pay 2 energy, play this as a counter attack, I'm sorry. And then you would drop a card from your hand afterwards if they negate I think it's play this card, and then they have time to respond, and then you drop a card from your hand. But when you play this, your opponent can't attack unless they discard 2 cards from their hand each time. So really good here. It's just like a floodgate, stops the battles. This one, you still have an attack or 2 coming through, but you do have blockers. Like this guy and this guy are huge blockers. So it's not really that big of an issue, and that's why you run 2 of these, and then I run 2 of these, just because it's a hard negate, They can't sneak anything through. All right, then another hard negate that we run is Homicidal Clones. We try to keep our life pretty high. We'll usually be at 6 when we awaken, get down to 5, and maybe we would hold ourselves at 4. But if you don't know what this card does here, it negates the attack. And if you're at 5 or less life, you could take a life and you could play this for free. And when you play this card and you negate the attack, you can play a Homicidal Clone token. And the token is actually a blocker. So this could stop 2 potential attacks, which is really strong. So we run 2 of those. It's kind of a staple. Each color has one. And now our green-blue package. So with this stuff, let me make a little room here. Put the Homicidal Clones up here. So we start with our super combos. So I opted for Android 17 and Android 18 team up attack. Now this is good too if you need a Android 17 into your Z energy, because this is live. It's just all the time. You just can combo with this for 0 if your leader is green or blue. And what this one does here is if your leader card is blue or green and it's your opponent's turn, when this card is used in a combo from your hand, switch up to 1 of your blue-green multicolor energy to active mode, which we do have in this deck because it is a blue-green build. So it's really good. It's strong. It's live automatically, and like I said, it's a 17, so it goes right into your Z energy, and it'll help with your awakening and everything like that. So definitely a good option here. And then we run 4 of those, like I said. Super combos always run 4. We have our counterplay, which is Hidden Potential. So this is an extra card here. It's from an expansion set. Basically, it's got energy exhaust, obviously, because it's blue-green. But counterplay, if your leader card is green, if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 4 or less, it is placed in its owner's drop area instead of being played. And then you could choose up to 1 of your blue or green energy and switch it to active mode. So this ends up only costing 1 energy if your leader's green. And then you play it. You got to use a blue and a green. And you can untap either a green or a blue energy or a green-blue energy. So really good there. That's the kind of like to stop our opponent's floodgates. If they use a topo or something like that and we still want to get through, we could just play that. It would go into the drop area instead. Is it the drop area and back to their hand? Let me just double check. Yeah, so it goes into the drop area. So it's really good. It gets rid of a card. And they already paid for it, so like you're looking good after that. To help with our colors, we run 3 of these. So it's an Android 17, which is really good too. If you need a combo with it or you need it for something, you could pay it for 2, play it for 2 if you need to. Energy exhaust, if you have a blue-green multicolor energy in your energy area, negate this card's energy exhaust in all areas. When your opponent combos, choose up to 1 of those cards and place it in its owner's drop area and negate this skill for the duration of the game. So if you play this card and it's out, you can use this ability to say they're going to arrival or they're going to combo, and you need to like make sure they're not going to like get through to you, or if they're going to if they're defending, you can drop one of their combos, super combo and everything. So it's really, really strong and really good. But this is mostly just used for our energy because after turn 1, we'll have the blue-green energy in there. So we'll just put that in there. It's comes in untapped, which is really good because multicolor sometimes can clog you up in that aspect. That's why it's good to have these cards, kind of like check lands and Magic. And then we have these two. It's a little bit more removal, so it helps with our colors too. But also, it's just really good removal for cheap energy. Sun Gohan and Piccolo skills sharpened, so it's got energy exhaust. If you ever get to 6 energy, you can play it, and it is a double strike, triple attack. So that to keep in mind if you do get that far. But most of the time, we're finishing out the game before that. For 1 blue energy, this is what we use it for. Active main. If your leader is a blue or green, if your leader is blue or green, and you discard this card from your hand, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 3 or less, and place them at the bottom of their owner's deck in any order. So this is really good if you got some pesky stuff going on. You just need to get rid of some battle cards because there's a lot of stuff going on. They're swarming, you can't handle that many attacks. So it's a little bit of extra removal, and it also helps with our blue-green colors. So I run 2 of those. We'll put them right here. And then the last card that we run, well, I do have a secret rare, but I'll just tell you which one it is. I don't have it personally, but the one that goes in it, I'll tell you which one it is. But we run 3 of these too. So where is it? Android 17, Android 18, Limitless Energy. So this is good because we really want to get our blue energy in there so that we can use, like Hidden Potential and some other things like we got going on like that for blue. And then this we could actually play. So with this here, it's got dual attack, deflect, energy exhaust. Usually best turn to play this is turn 1. If you have one in your hand, you play this turn 1, rest mode, and then it's in your energy for the rest of the game. And if your leader is a blue red ribbon army, you can negate this card's energy exhaust, but ours is not a red ribbon army. It's just an android. And then over here, a machine mutant and an android. Those are the keyword skills it has. And then auto, when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost greater than their current energy and place it in the bottom of his owner's deck. But you can play this for 2 energy, 1 blue, 1 green. If your leader is blue or green, you could play it from your hand or your energy. So if you put this in your energy, you could play it from your energy, or you could play it from your hand for 2 energy, and it's a 20k dual attack, and it also has deflect. So it's really, really not bad, and it gets something bigger than their energy out of the way. So it's just a little extra for the deck, and it's also, like I said, it's a 17. So if he's out, you can use any of these guys too and absorb it or do whatever you have to do. So that is that, and then I unfortunately don't have it. I missed it by 1 pack. I picked the wrong pack, and then somebody else picked it at our locals. And the Android 21, the new one from Power Absorb, is definitely the proper, I'll put it that way, the proper SCR to use. That secret rare, it's perfect. It's searchable by the leader's ability. And some of these other cards that look at the top, whatever, to find an android. Like it says here, look at the top 5 cards at the top of your deck and choose an android or a machine mutant with energy cost 6 or less. It's actually a 4-drop secret rare, but it does turn into an 8-drop once it's out on the battlefield. So it is actually searchable by your leader. And that is the one that I'm probably going to buy for this deck. And definitely would help out the deck a lot too, because it's got a lot of stuff going on in it. If you guys want to look it up, I forget what the name of it is, but it's a 21 secret rare, Android 21 secret rare. But it's blue-green also, so it fits the theme really well. So that would be the one to choose. I was running Supreme Kai of Time when I was playing this deck, but I've been playtesting a lot, so I actually threw that in a different deck. But guys, that's the deck profile. I hope you liked it. I do have a few more deck profiles that are going to be coming out, probably one tomorrow and one probably maybe a Friday or so. So keep an eye out for those. Like I said, I'm going to do a bunch of 17 themed things. So I'm really up the 17 train right now, but we'll figure it out. I'll show you guys a few more deck ideas I have. I know this is a little different, a little bit more spicy because it's blue and green. I think it definitely helps the deck and makes it a lot more powerful. So if you guys have any other ideas or anything and you want to share it in the comments below, feel free. I also have an eBay, an Instagram, and a Facebook if you guys want to check those all out. They're always bumping, and I'll leave links to everything in the description below. Also, feel free to subscribe, leave a like and comment. It always helps the channel. And if you guys have any questions, just message me, let me know on any of my different outlets. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck list, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.